Sometimes, the smallest kindness leaves the deepest mark. In a quiet hospital, a tired doctor paused beside a bed where an old man lay counting coins on his palm. Not enough, even for tomorrow's medicine. The doctor said nothing. He simply watched, the way one watches a candle flicker in the wind. No one saw what he did next, and years later, no one expected that a single act of silent compassion would return to him, like a light finding its way home through time. Welcome, my friend, to another story on this channel, a place where we explore the quiet beauty of human kindness and the lessons that heal the heart. Tonight's story is about a doctor, not a hero, not a saint, just a man who once made a choice no one knew about. It's about the kind of goodness that doesn't ask for thanks, and the way a single act can echo through time, shaping lives we may never meet. So, find a quiet moment, breathe slowly, and let this story remind you that compassion is never wasted. It always finds its way home. It was a cold evening in late autumn. The hospital corridors were half lit, the smell of disinfectant blending with the distant echo of footsteps. Dr. Min had been on duty for 12 hours straight. His shoulders sagged beneath his white coat, his eyes dry from staring at charts and monitors all day. Outside the emergency ward, a frail old man sat on a bench, clutching a worn cloth bag. His hands trembled as he counted a few crumpled notes and coins on his lap. Carefully, slowly, as if each coin carried the weight of his life. The nurse at the counter sighed. "He's short again," she whispered to another. "The insurance doesn't cover the new test." Dr. Min overheard them. For a moment, he stood still, listening to the faint rattle in the old man's breath. Something inside him stirred, a quiet ache, familiar yet forgotten. He walked over, kneeling slightly so that their eyes met. "Have you eaten today?" he asked gently. The man shook his head, embarrassed. "I'll manage, doctor. I don't want to trouble anyone." Min nodded, not insisting. His gaze fell upon the man's calloused palms, hands that had worked a lifetime for so little. In that simple image, something resonated within him, a memory of his own father, once a factory worker who had fallen ill and couldn't afford treatment. Min still remembered how helpless he had felt, watching his father fade away. A pager beeped. The moment broke. Min stood up, adjusting his coat. But as he walked back toward the ward, his steps slowed. The sound of the old man coughing softly behind him clung to the hallway like a whisper that refused to fade. That night, as the hospital lights dimmed, he found himself standing before the billing office window, alone, uncertain, and staring at the patient's unpaid balance on the screen. Dr. Min stood there, the soft hum of the fluorescent light above him, blending with the quiet throb of his own heartbeat. The computer screen glowed pale blue, showing the patient's name, Nguyen Van Lock, and beside it, a column of unpaid fees. He rubbed his temples, exhausted, torn between duty and something far more human. In his pocket lay a folded paycheck, his modest monthly salary. He had been saving it for his mother's medication back home. But as he looked at the old man's name, his thoughts tangled in silence. He stepped into the dim ward. The man lay asleep, his chest rising and falling shallowly under a thin blanket. Moonlight filtered through the blinds, laying stripes of silver across his frail frame. Dr. Min stood by the bedside, his fingers brushing lightly against the metal railing, an unspoken gesture of care. He whispered to no one, "Why must kindness always ask for permission?" For a moment, he closed his eyes. He remembered his father's voice. "Son, never let the world harden your heart." And before he could second-guess himself, he reached for his wallet. He slipped a sealed envelope under the patient's file. The amount was enough to clear the bill, with a small note inside. For medicine and rest, from a stranger. As he turned to leave, his steps were slow, deliberate. His reflection passed through the glass door. A weary doctor with a quiet storm in his chest. He didn't want gratitude. He didn't even want to be remembered. When morning came, the old man woke to find the nurse holding his discharge papers, smiling softly. "Someone took care of it," she said. He blinked, confused, clutching the papers as if they might vanish. Tears welled up as he whispered, "Who?" But no one could answer. Outside, sunlight spilled over the hospital steps. Dr. Min watched from afar, unseen, as the man bowed toward the sky. Not to him, but to life itself. And in that instant, Min felt something inside him ease, as though a long-forgotten wound had finally begun to heal. Days passed. The old man left the hospital, and life returned to its quiet rhythm. But something in Dr. Min had changed, a stillness he couldn't name. He began to notice the small things again. The way sunlight spilled across the corridor in the morning, the soft laughter of nurses sharing tea, the gentle rise and fall of a patient's breath. One afternoon, as he walked through the ward, a little girl handed him a paper crane folded from a candy wrapper. "My grandpa said you're a good man," she smiled. "He said people like you make the world less lonely." Dr. Min froze, his throat tightening. He didn't know which patient she meant. Perhaps it didn't matter. He placed the paper crane on his desk. It stayed there, fragile, silent, yet strangely alive. That night, sitting alone by the window, Min realized that what he had done was not charity. It was a form of remembering that medicine wasn't only about curing bodies, but also about keeping faith in humanity. He looked at his hands, the same hands that once felt helpless beside his father's bed, now capable of giving without reason. And for the first time in years, he smiled, not out of pride, but of peace. From that day on, he carried a quiet vow within himself. Whenever he could, he would leave behind small traces of compassion, invisible, but real. He didn't tell anyone. He simply lived softer, spoke kinder, and walked through the hospital halls as if each step were a silent prayer. Many years later, the hospital looked different. New walls, brighter lights, younger faces. Dr. Min's hair had turned gray at the temples, and his steps had grown slower. But his eyes still carried the same calm gentleness. He often stayed late, walking through the quiet halls where his journey had begun. Sometimes he would pause by the window overlooking the city, watching the amber glow of streetlights blur in the night rain. He would think of the countless lives that had passed through these rooms, each one a fragile story stitched with hope and pain. One evening, as he reviewed a new intern's report, he noticed a familiar handwriting on a thank you card left on his desk. It read, "To the doctor who once helped my father when no one else could. You didn't know me then, but your kindness saved more than a life. It planted a seed. Today, I walk the same halls you did. Thank you for showing me what being a doctor truly means." The signature at the bottom, Dr. Lok Nguyen. Min stared at the name, the air around him stilling. A faint tremor ran through his fingers as he traced the letters. Then, slowly, a smile formed, deep, quiet, and full of light. He looked up toward the window, where the first sunlight of dawn spilled across the city skyline. Somewhere, he imagined the paper crane still perched on his old desk, wings forever open. He whispered softly, "So the circle returns." And for a long moment, he simply stood there, hands resting in his coat pockets, eyes moist. breathing in the stillness. The hospital around him was alive with the hum of life, and in his heart, there was only peace. Sometimes, the truest kindness is the one no one ever sees. We live in a world that praises noise, yet the quiet hearts, the ones who give without witness, are the ones who keep humanity alive. Dr. Min never sought recognition, and the old man never learned his name. But somewhere in the unseen spaces between them, compassion took root and bloomed again in the next generation. Maybe that's what kindness really is, not a transaction, but a seed. You plant it once, and it grows in hearts you'll never meet. Thank you for spending this moment with me. If this story touched you, let it remind you. Every gentle act counts, no matter how small. Until we meet again in the next story, take care of your heart and keep the light of kindness burning quietly within you.